Hi, I'm Rahul Kumar. Welcome to my solo show here at Exhibit 320, Ladosarai in Delhi. The show is titled The Untold Resides Somewhere, Assembling Fragments. This entire body of work is exploring the idea of preserving the broken, the fragments, the shards, as if they were torn pieces of paper on which a letter was written or not written, definitely not posted, a song that remained unsung, a poem that was never read. Why do we have this need to preserve the broken? Does a piece of shard represent the memory of the whole? And therefore it's not just the object, the physical object that we have a tendency to preserve, protect, assemble, but also metaphorically, what happens about the memories and dreams, that we have, emotions that were not expressed. Can we express in a language which is not communicating and in a way which is alien? So for instance, the work right behind me, it is actually resembles text and a script, but it's all gibberish. It is not something that is really communicating, but still, as far as I'm concerned, I am expressing through these works. The title of the work is I Have a Secret to Tell. Now, I have a secret to tell that I'm sharing with you. You're not understanding and relating to it or reading it. As we move on, this series is called Boxed, and it really is, pieces of fragments of paper and pages that I'm just sort of trying to. The whole exploration is how we protect it, how we hold it, how we just bring it together. Exploring this idea of, assembling what truly belongs to a trash can, but we still want to preserve it. What does it really mean when we do that? This entire series, it's called Contain. And, there is a very special relationship with cardboard boxes that we normally have. I mean, cardboard boxes represent transition. They represent, a deep storage in some ways. So it's all made in clay. It's all stoneware clay, and the idea is again to continue with this thought and this entire exploration of preserving the discarded, what really ought to be thrown away, be discarded. And there is one work which is on the wall of the same kind. This is called Assemblage, and there are references that you could draw on sort of architectural elements. Does it look like a window? Is it pieces of broken walls? But yes, all of that is sort of open to multiple interpretations. It is definitely the broken which is being assembled into something maybe beautiful. And likewise, the entire series, it's called Stacked. So what's really happening is, small components, small pieces and objects, as if they're bricks that are just collecting one on top of the other. They're cells. There are multiple ways to look at it, but ultimately what's really happening is the pieces are really coming together as if they're just being held together. We're not sort of letting them go. We'll carry on with the show on the other side. I am also a writer by profession, and therefore have a very special connect with words. Words ought to have meaning. Words ought to have meaning that is not ambiguous, and therefore there is this, and very sort of a liberating feeling to put text and words which have no meaning. So that became something very, very important for me. That's continuation of the Boxed series. Again, you can almost tell that there is, fragments and pieces of paper that are stuffed, that are really, bursting at the seams, but it's really being held into one sort of a compressed space of sorts. There is an occasional and sparing use of gold in the work, possibly referencing something that is valuable, something that is precious, that just pops out every once in a while. All these works are made in clay. They are all stoneware clay, essentially. Very sparingly, I have used terracotta at some places. This series is called Remains. Again, continuing the idea of what remains when you take away. So again, a lot of people feel that it is sort of referencing a floor plan after maybe the building itself has been demolished. It is certainly an aerial view. It is something where there was an impression, but now it isn't. So what happens when it's taken away and what remains, really? Clay is a very tactile medium anyways. Every touch is registered. Every mark is something that stays. So really, it is in continuation of the process and the medium itself. So I want to end with essentially this body of work where I've actually something reasonably unusual is to use clay on paper. So this is all sorts of clays that I work with in the studio, or there are minerals, oxides, chemicals, and there are all ceramic pigments. And again, what I've done here is there is reference of text because that is something that is important to me as a writer. Also, there is an expression, there is something that I'm saying, but I'm not entirely communicating because it is again gibberish. There is reference to a certain text, but none of it is legible. You cannot read it. Then there is layering either with clay or pattern. That also is as if it is hiding. There is an act of hiding and not communicating and not fully telling, right? So exploring this entire thought of the unsaid and what does it mean to have something which remains unsaid, which is untold, which remains still somewhere in our psyche, in our memories, within our depth. To end, I do want to very quickly read my artist statement, something that I've been talking about. What does it mean to preserve the discarded, the torn, the shattered, the broken? Do shards tell a story? Is part representative of the whole? Can gibberish communicate? Does the unsaid also converse? Do dreams have worth if they're squished and trapped within? The show is on at Exhibition 20 in Delhi. It's on till April 28th. Do come and see the show and do give us your feedback. Let me know what you thought of it. Thank you so much.